Hi. Well, thanks for coming, first of all. My name is Elena Khalimonova, like Jason mentioned. Thank you for introducing me. And I was a Johnston Fellow in Nonprofit Outreach this past summer in Bread for the World in Washington, D.C. So what is Bread for the World? Bread for the World is an advocacy and social justice nonprofit organization with a faith component. Specifically, they are built around Christian faith. There are many departments within Bread for the World, including government relations, and I got to interact with some individuals from that department, but I specifically interned within their church relations department. So one of the big projects that I did not expect doing, but I stepped up and decided to do, was organization of young adult visits. So what that entailed was setting up the materials for each individual visitor. So putting up folders together like those that they could later on, read on their own and take home with them. And the big part of it was presenting to the groups about the mission and the values of Bread, and just teaching them and training them on what advocacy is and what it looks like. One of the meetings that I was in charge of, I had to schedule a lobbying visit with the individuals, representatives, and senators. And 3 other meetings involved offering of letters campaign, which is basically training these students about how to write letters to their politicians. Another big project was the local church outreach. So Bread for the World is partnering with different churches from different denominations across the United States. And I sat in that cubicle and designed a calling script that I later used to call and email members responsible at the churches, and just trying to see if they wanted to renew their commitment with Bread in terms of either in the form of the offering of letters or donations. And then I recorded the results in the Excel spreadsheet and Razor's Edge. Razor's Edge is a software commonly used by nonprofits. Last but not least, one of the most exciting things that I got to be part of was the lobbying day, which happens every single year and is hosted by Bread for the World. And I got to be part of a group from New York State. And in this picture, we're actually here, we're meeting with a representative of Senator Gillibrand. I think that's how you say it. And we are basically lobbying on behalf of Bread, bringing up the issues of hunger and poverty and the importance of it. Another big event that I got to be part of was the Pan-African Women of Faith consultation, which was something that the organization was trying out for the first time. So it was very hectic, and I helped organize some of the logistics of it. And that involved bringing together women of African descent and promoting conversation between them and between each other. What do we do, and what solutions there are to hunger and poverty in the United States and abroad. So some of the lessons that I learned during my time involved learning how important communication is, especially when you're organizing such large-scale events as organizing young adult visits. I also learned the importance of saying no, because sometimes I would take on more than I could do, and that kind of sometimes cut into my ability to get everything done. And tying into that, and that all is knowing how to ask for help when needed, and just knowing how to bring up issues and talk with my supervisor. Impacts of my experience, I have learned that I have a great passion for social justice issues. In fact, last block in my senior seminar, I wrote a big paper about the connection between mental illness and criminal justice system. That was very interesting, and I don't think I would have been interested in that if it wasn't for this experience. So I really got to explore that aspect. I also learned how to coordinate large-scale projects, which I've never done before in my life until I interned with Bread. And last but not least, I have utilized my leadership skills and knowledge that I gained as part of my LEADS experience last year. And if you're not familiar with what LEADS is, it stands for Leadership, entrepreneurship, and distinctive service. And at the end of my experience, actually the director of church relations has thanked me for showing leadership, especially in stepping up and helping organize the visits to the organization of students. I would like to thank so much donors to our Cornell Fellows program, because without their financial support, this experience probably wouldn't be possible for me. Jared Notzel, who was the first point of contact for me at Bread for the World and whom I met, like Jason said, during my alternative spring break. Nancy Neal, my site supervisor, who has guided me through the process and really led me through it. Professor Faruqi, who unfortunately I don't think is here, but who is my faculty sponsor for this internship. And last but not least, all the Bear Career Institute folks, Jason Napoli, Rebecca Sullins, and Dawn Pitts, for helping me with the application from the very beginning throughout this experience and, to the very bitter end. Thank you.